You are not crying alone. That heaviness in your chest right now, it isn't just bad luck. It isn't just a random chemical imbalance. And it certainly isn't a sign that you have been abandoned. We need to talk about the invisible hand that is holding you while you break. Because right now, you might be looking at your life and asking the most terrifying question a human being can ask. If there is a loving God, why is He letting me hurt like this? You pray for relief. You beg for a sign. You stare at the ceiling at 3 a.m., asking for just one tiny flicker of hope. But the pain just keeps coming. It feels like a relentless tide, wave after wave, pulling you under. And in return, silence. The silence from the heavens feels deafening. It feels personal. The weight of it makes you question everything. You look at the world, at the people laughing in coffee shops, living their seemingly perfect lives, and the question echoes in your soul. Why me? Why this specific pain? Why now? But what if that pain isn't a sign of abandonment? What if it isn't a punishment? What if it is a frequency? What if your deepest moments of suffering are actually the moments you are being tuned to hear the divine? We are going to take a journey into the heart of the Bhagavad Gita to uncover one of its most comforting yet radical truths. Your pain is not a random, cruel twist of fate. It is a purposeful, divinely engineered tool. It is a mechanism designed by Krishna himself, not to break you, but to awaken you. It is a surgical instrument used to purify your soul, to shatter your illusions, and to guide you, step by painful step, back to where you actually belong. By the end of this, you will see your struggle not as a curse, but as a hidden, aggressive form of grace. Before we can understand the cure, we have to brutally, honestly diagnose the disease. The hurt we feel isn't just on the surface. It is a crisis of identity. When we are in the middle of suffering, whether it is the sharp shock of betrayal, the long ache of grief, or the crushing weight of failure, our minds immediately start spinning stories to make sense of the chaos. And the most dangerous story we tell ourselves is the story of the victim. What did I do to deserve this? We scour our past like detectives, looking for the mistake, the sin, the wrong turn that brought this nightmare into our lives. We see others coasting through life, untouched, and the comparison burns. The pain becomes a personal failure. It adds a layer of shame to your suffering. You start to believe you are fundamentally flawed, that you have been singled out by a cosmic judge who has decided you aren't worth protecting. This leads to a spiritual collapse. We are taught to believe in a God who is all-loving, but our reality of constant suffering seems to contradict that. How can a loving father watch his child scream in agony and do nothing? That question eats away at the foundation of your faith. You feel spiritually homeless. You feel abandoned by the one source of comfort you thought was guaranteed. This mindset is a prison. You are trapped not just by the event, but by your interpretation of it. You feel like a ship lost in a violent storm, tossed by waves of fear and anger, with your anchor ripped away. It is a state of complete desolation. And it is in this exact state, this place of deep darkness, that the Bhagavad Gita begins. It doesn't start in a temple. It doesn't start in a peaceful garden. It starts in the mud and the blood of a battlefield. To understand how Krishna guides us, we have to stand next to Arjuna. Picture the scene at Kurukshetra. The air is thick with the dust of two massive armies. Millions of soldiers are ready to kill and die. The sound of conch shells blows, signaling the start of a catastrophic war. On one side, the Kauravas, representing greed and injustice. On the other, the Pandavas, fighting for righteousness. Arjuna, the greatest warrior of his time, the unbeatable archer, asks his charioteer to drive him to the center of the field. And his charioteer is no ordinary driver. It is Krishna, the Supreme Lord, acting as his friend. From this vantage point, Arjuna looks at the enemy, and what he sees breaks him. He doesn't see nameless monsters. He sees faces he loves. He sees his great-grandfather Bhishma, who bounced him on his knee. He sees his teacher Dronacharya, the man who taught him how to hold a bow. He sees cousins, friends, uncles. The reality hits him with the force of a physical blow. This isn't just war, this is slaughter. The Gita describes his physical reaction in terrifying detail. His limbs give way, his mouth goes completely dry, his body starts to tremble uncontrollably, and his hair stands on end. His legendary bow, the Gandiva, slips from his sweating hands. This is a panic attack. It is a total nervous breakdown. Overwhelmed, Arjuna collapses into the seat of his chariot and says the unthinkable, "I will not fight." This isn't cowardice. Arjuna has faced demons and gods in battle before. This is moral paralysis. He is drowning in grief and confusion. He sees no way out. If he fights, he kills his family. If he doesn't fight, evil wins. Every option leads to pain. He is having the dark night of the soul. He is every one of us who has ever looked at our situation and felt that the road ahead is blocked, that there is no solution, only sorrow. Arjuna turns to Krishna, his mind a wreck, and speaks the words that trigger the most sacred conversation in human history. "Now I am confused about my duty. I am your disciple and a soul surrendered to you. Please tell me for certain what is best for me." And right here, not by snapping his fingers and fixing the problem, but by entering directly into the mess with him, Krishna begins his divine guidance. When Arjuna surrenders, Krishna doesn't offer a platitude. He doesn't say, "It'll be okay." He begins to systematically dismantle the architecture of Arjuna's suffering. Krishna's guidance is a total re-education of the human soul. He shows us that the solution to pain isn't in changing the world outside, but in radically shifting the vision inside. He hands us 4 pillars of truth to hold on to when the world shakes. First, he attacks the root of grief, the illusion of death. Krishna looks at a weeping Arjuna and delivers a shock to the system. He tells him that his grief is misplaced because he doesn't know what he actually is. He says in chapter 2 that for the soul, there is never birth nor death. It has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. It is unborn, eternal, and primeval. It is not slain when the body is slain. This is a massive shift. Krishna is teaching that our agony comes from thinking we are the costume we are wearing. We think we are this body, this name, this job, these emotions, but those are just the vehicle. Pain, sorrow, and loss belong to the vehicle, not the passenger. They are like the weather. Storms come, storms go. A wise person, Krishna says, learns to tolerate them without being disturbed, because they know their true identity is the eternal, unchanging watcher. Think of it like a movie theater. When you watch a tragedy on screen, you might cry. You feel the heartbreak, but deep down, you know you are sitting in a seat, safe. The drama is on the screen. It is not happening to you. Krishna teaches that life's pains are the movie. They are real, visceral, and intense, but they are happening on the screen of the material world. You are the soul, the eternal observer. Pain, in this context, is a spiritual alarm clock. It rings loudly to wake you up from the dream that you are this temporary body, but the mind fights back. It asks, "Okay, I'm a soul, but why is my movie so horrific? Why am I suffering while he is happy?" Here, Krishna introduces the mechanics of karma. This is often misunderstood as punishment. It isn't. It is physics. It is the law of cause and effect. Every action, thought, and word you have ever generated creates a seed. Those seeds eventually sprout, creating the forest of your life. The hardships we face are not random lightning bolts from an angry sky. They are the harvest of our own planting, perhaps from this life, perhaps from lives we can't remember. This isn't meant to shame you. It is meant to empower you. If you built this cage, you can dismantle it. Suffering becomes a purification process. It is the burning off of old debt. Just like a fever is the body's way of burning out an infection, the fire of suffering burns away the impurities of past karma. It makes the soul lighter. Your pain isn't a sentence, it's a detox. So how do we endure the detox? Krishna gives us a strategy, the art of detachment. In chapter 2, verse 47, he delivers a command that changes everything. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. This is the secret to stability. Most of our anxiety, most of our sleepless nights come from obsessing over the outcome. Will I get the job? Will the treatment work? Will they love me back? We attach our entire sense of worth to the result. Krishna says, stop, do the work, pour your heart into the effort, but let go of the result. Imagine a neurosurgeon performing a life-saving operation. She has to be incredibly focused, but if her hands are shaking because she is terrified of the outcome, she fails. Her duty is the procedure. The outcome is in the hands of the divine. When you live this way, you become like a lotus leaf on water resting on the surface of life, but never getting wet by it. But Krishna knows us. He knows that sometimes philosophy isn't enough. When the pain is blinding, when the grief is a physical weight, we can't just think our way out of it. We need a lifeline. This is where he reveals the ultimate solution, the grace of surrender. After explaining the philosophy, the karma, the yoga, Krishna makes a final, intimate promise in chapter 18. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This is the peak. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is the moment you realize you are too small to carry this burden alone. It is the moment the ego shatters. The ego loves control. It says, I can fix this. Suffering humiliates the ego. It brings us to our knees. And it is only on our knees that we are finally positioned to receive grace. It is the moment you stop trying to be the charioteer of your own life and you hand the reins back to Krishna. You say, I don't understand this plan. It hurts, but I trust you. When you surrender your pain to him, he doesn't just watch you carry it. He picks you up. He becomes the carrier. If this journey into the Gita's wisdom is speaking to something deep inside you, if you feel a stirring to understand more about this ancient map for modern living, then this is your invitation. We are building a community here dedicated to these truths. Subscribe to the channel. Don't just watch, join us as we navigate this battlefield together. We started this feeling lost in the silence. We end it with a new vision. The pain you are feeling is not a mistake, it is a tool. It is a purifier, burning away the heavy baggage of your past. It is a teacher, relentlessly reminding you that you are spirit, not matter. And most of all, it is an invitation. It is a call from Krishna to stop struggling against the current and to float in his will. At the end of the Gita, the war didn't disappear. The arrows were still flying. But Arjuna was different. His fear was gone. He picked up his bow and said, My illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt. That is the promise. Krishna may not remove the storm, but he will calm the sailor. He will give you the eyes to see the path and the strength to walk it. Your pain has a purpose. Do not fear it. It is just the sound of Krishna calling you home.